gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of At My Desk. I'm your host, Dr. William Lester. Today we're going to take a little trip back in time. We're going to continue on our theme of the paranormal and unexplained mysteries. But I thought I would share with you today some blasts from the past. You know, in today's world, we're all hooked in. We're all online. We're all tweeting and emailing and Facebooking and just a million different ways to move information around instantly. But it wasn't always like that, was it? Now, I very clearly remember years ago in elementary school, in high school, going to my school library, going to the public library. My first job was at a public library. And I would find these great books about the unexplained before I knew the term paranormal. And so I have some of these titles with me, and I want to share some of them with you. The first one, and you're going to love these titles. The first one is Monsters, Giants, and Little Men from Mars, An Unnatural History of the Americas by Daniel Cohen. And the publication date here is 1975. The book is listed for, let's see, $6.95. Now, where are you going to find a hardback book today for less than $7? And the book is filled with interesting anecdotes. I'll go to the table of contents. Native American monsters, giants, little people, sea monsters, lake and river monsters, the Bigfoot clan, things from space, the Men in Black and other terrors, and wonderful black and white illustrations in this book. Again, 1975, very cool little hardback book. Very happy to have this as part of my library. The next one, Mysteries, Monsters, and Untold Secrets by George Laycock. Again, hardback. Again, $6.95 is the price. That must have been a lot of money in those days. But looking or checking the table of contents, A New Look at Loch Ness. It was a new look in 1975. Strange Lights in the Night. Have You Seen the UFOs? Ghost Ships of the High Seas. The Bermuda Triangle. Big Birds of Texas. The Trail of Bigfoot. Mysteries of a Jungle Civilization. And again, black and white photos. Very interesting stories in here. Mysteries, Monsters, and Untold Secrets. The next one, it's called Monsters, Their Histories, Homes, and Habits by Pearl Epstein. It's got a weird little creature here gracing the cover. And this is 1973, I believe, 1973. And its table of contents reveals dragons, basilisks, and variations thereof, monsters of the deep, the symbolism of monsters, and monstrous odds and ends. And again, very cool black and white illustrations, some photographs, some drawings, sketches, etc. And a wonderful addition to have as part of your library. This one is an old friend. This big book here, Mysteries of the Unexplained. It's got the look and the feel of one of the old encyclopedias, like an old World Book encyclopedia. It's published by Reader's Digest, and the publication date is 1982, so it is a 30-year-old volume. And it has got wonderful full-page, rich photographs, Wonderful old drawings, paintings, illustrations. I am very surprised, actually, that this book is in the remarkable condition that it's in because of the number of hours that I know I spent reading it. But however, let me share some of the contents with you, and you can see how fascinating this book is. Beyond the Walls of Time, Unearthly Fates, Monsters and More, The Unquiet Sky, In the Realm of Miracles. So it's wonderfully comprehensive. So everything from ghosts and monsters and aliens and every kind of phenomenon you can think of. A wonderful book. And this is one of those, look, I know that you can get up and Google anything, right? But there's times when you just want to go to your bookshelf, pull something like this down, pour scotch, and just spend some time flipping through the pages. And just a wonderful way to educate yourself on some of these things, or just kind of reflect back. Okay, Mysteries of the Unexplained, Reader's Digest, 1982. I have to imagine that this particular volume is out there on the internet or in some of your used bookshops. I don't have any idea about what kind of price you could expect to pay for it today, and there's no price listed on the inside here. But this is worth having. The next one I consider to be in the must-read category, and it is The Mothman Prophecies by the late John Keel. And of course, there was a movie a few years ago, but really all it had in common with this book was the title. And it was one of those type of situations where the movie producers figured that they could make any kind of little crazy movie they wanted to make and sell the movie with this title. And if you've seen the movie and you're familiar with the book, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not seen the film, don't bother. Get this book. Okay? I think Richard Gere is in it, but it's a mess. Okay? But the essence of the book is Point Pleasant, West Virginia, 1967, and sightings of a strange winged humanoid creature in the area. In conjunction with UFO sightings, Men in Black sightings, other weird paranormal goings on, all chronicled by John Keel, who was in the Point Pleasant, West Virginia area at the time. So in many ways, this is a first-hand account of what was happening. It's wonderfully interesting and sufficiently scary and creepy to keep you engaged. Must read. This will never go out of print, I imagine. This is one you can just go up to Amazon.com right now and order it. But it's a must read. Very, very good book. So, those are my recommendations from the book end, but we're not finished because I have a few recommendations from the video end. There are lots of cool and interesting videos that come from yesteryear. Most of these you would see on your local UHF station. If you some of you are old enough to remember the pre-cable era, when we had our local UHF stations. Here in Atlanta, we had WTCG Channel 17, which is what it was called before Ted Turner took over and made it TBS. But here are some of the titles that I wanted to share with you. Here's one from the late 70s, early 80s. It's an Australian-made film, documentary-style film called UFOs Are Here. And again, it is a late 70s look at the UFO phenomena. Very interesting. Even Steven Spielberg is in this documentary talking about his views on the UFO subject. But also you have Kenneth Arnold, very famous historic pre-Roswell sighting in 1947, Mount Rainier. Also Betty Hill from the famous Betty and Barney Hill abduction event. And Dr. J. Allen Hynek. So, well worth it. This is available online. You just have to Google it. Just Google UFOs Are Here DVD. And you should be able to pick this up pretty easily. Now, before I continue, I'll just tell you right now, another cool element of this is that these are not going to break the bank because it's a niche market. These are niche videos, and so they're not necessarily going to go for a premium price. The ones that I'm going to show you, I picked up for $8, $10, $12, no more. Okay, the next one is The Legend of Boggy Creek, again from the early 70s. And I remember this one coming out, and I remember not being too interested at the time. But of course, in later years, as my interest had increased, I wanted to definitely have this as part of my collection. But this basically chronicles the sightings of this Bigfoot type creature in the Arkansas, Louisiana areas, Fouke, Arkansas. It's sometimes called the Fouke Monster. Honey Island, sometimes called the Honey Island Monster. And it's done in a quasi-documentary dramatization reenactment style. Okay? So again, very interesting. Definitely available online. $8, $10. Definitely worth it. Great Friday night viewing. Legend of Boggy Creek. The next one kind of steps over into the land of ridiculous, but that's okay because there's got to be some fun in this, right? It's called Overlords of the UFO, and you see the cover of the DVD, and you just Overlords of the UFO. You know, you want to just say it like that. There are parts of this that are just pure silly. Footage of UFOs that are clearly not real. Hokey, campy, silly dramatizations. But there is some legitimate information, some learning value in this. Again, the mid-70s, I think 1976, I think this one came out. And this was one that I definitely saw late night, Saturday afternoons, etc. on television. It's absolute fun. This is one, if you're serious about UFOs, this is one that you can look at or show to friends or colleagues and say, look, we can have fun with this too. Because there is a silly side to this, and it comes through in this. But worth having as part of your collection. Overlords of the UFO. The next one is my favorite, and it is called The Mysterious Monsters. And it is a documentary that is hosted and narrated by Peter Graves, the late Peter Graves of Mission Impossible fame. 1975. This one actually was running in theaters at the time, because I remember seeing it at the movie theaters and was struck by the, you know, when you see things at the theater, there's always it's bigger and more foreboding and overwhelming. But about 90% of the documentary is spent discussing Bigfoot, Abominable Snowman. Then there's a small percentage, about 10% of it is looking at the Loch Ness Monster. And but the small time that they spend on the Loch Ness Monster is time well spent. It's very good. And again, Peter Graves, very well done, very well written. There are some dramatizations in it to recount sighting experiences. Very well done. Very well done. To be honest with you, I can't think of a similar film then or now that's better than this. And there are things out now, there are things that they do on television now. I don't think they're better than this. If you don't know anything about the Bigfoot phenomena and you may be interested, start here. Again, readily available online. I think I paid $9 for this. And I absolutely recommend this one. So that was our little look back. I mean, we went back just about 40 years with these books and videos. And I wanted to share this with you just to suggest that we don't have to get all of our information from the Sci-Fi Channel or from, you know, various websites of questionable reputation. There's a lot of good stuff online. There's a lot of nonsense online. And the internet can be overwhelming, especially for the novice who's interested in these subjects and really doesn't know where to begin. If you have a young person who's interested in these topics, start here. Start with these old books. Start with these old books. Go to the public library. Go to the used bookshop. You know, there are a lot worse ways to kill an afternoon than going into an old used bookshop. And you're always, always, always going to find something interesting in those old shops. And they're disappearing because of the proliferation of internet booksellers. So if you have one in your area, please patronize it. Again, the videos, Mysterious Monsters, Overlords of the UFO, The Legend of Boggy Creek, and UFOs Are Here, all great starting points. If you are familiar with these topics, it's a great way to reinforce, enhance your library, your collection, your body of research. So, I hope you enjoyed this little retro preview, and it was fun sharing these with you, and I hope to see you here again with me at my desk. I'm Dr. William Lester.